Hi, and welcome back to another supplemental episode for the history of fan anime. I'm your host, Chow, and today's episode, I want to continue with the thought that I had on the previous episode. I mentioned in the previous episode that I was going to have, I was thinking of doing a kind of a separate, subscriber type of episode. And I'm toying with the idea, but I thought, okay, well, maybe what I should do is I should try to make one, and just see how how I would make one, and just see what things I could do that would be different that I know that I couldn't do on YouTube, right? For example, right? Because and then basically have all like a totally different set of episodes available for the higher subscriber tier. I thought, okay, well, let's give it a try, right? So here, I wanted to try to do what I think might be a possible way of, kind of more unique content that would be for that kind of thing. And if you're interested, hey, just maybe throw a comment down below and see what you think, and then maybe I'll make more of these type of episodes, and then have them put aside or whatever, or in a different category or whatever. Okay, and see what that is like, right? So, so my concept is basically this. I mean, I've got one sort of channel which is, doing, the history of fan anime, and all the, different little topics of that. But I realize that, there are a lot of limitations and that kind of stuff that happen with YouTube and whatnot. And there's also content that, probably could go on my channel, but, maybe it's not a big enough topic by itself, or little things like that, just quite yet to do a thing. Or maybe it is big enough, but I just don't really kind of haven't decided to put it together yet, and what is that. So one example is sort of like this is that, okay, as you know, that I'm playing Langrisser mobile on that is actually so much so that I've actually now created a second account so that I can. This one here, okay. This is the official art book for Langrisser Mobile, okay. And so I thought, okay, this is one of the type of things where I can kind of touch on a little bit, in this kind of special kind of episode, because first of all, what I could normally do in this sort of example is that I can now start theoretically playing music from the Langrisser soundtrack, okay, and I always like playing this number two. And again, if this was a normal video, then I'd have to be very careful. I have to lower the volume. I have to and do things like speak over the song, so that the YouTube won't DCM me, strike me, or whatever, because I'm using copyrighted music kind of thing. So I'm thinking, this would be one of these situations where I could actually put the music here and not actually have to worry about it. So if you imagine right now, I could lay down a musical bed right now, and that could be the Langrisser soundtrack that I could play, and giving you examples of that kind of thing, for example, right? The other thing that I can do is that now that I've got this book, I can theoretically do a kind of a view through this book, right? Then I can change the view, and then I can go through some of the different pictures and that kind of stuff in this particular book. And a lot of them are very, very, you're familiar and that kind of stuff that you like and that kind of stuff that you see that are used in the game. And what I really like about this particular version in this book is that certain pictures are a little bit better detailed in the book than they are obviously on your screen. That's on your thing here, right? I'll give some examples in the thing there, but it's just really kind of nice that that's available now. In regards to the channel now, okay, the advantage of having something like this, and I'll just see if I can find the page here. See, it tends to be a little more. No, I think if I remember right, those pictures are at the very, very end. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The advantage of doing this sort of very freestyle type of thing is that I could spend a little more time going through all the different pictures and that kind of stuff in this book and some of the really neat content in this book. And I know I was flipping through earlier. Yeah. Okay. For example, in my usual video that I normally have to do on YouTube, I could show a picture like this, but I'd have to block out the certain section because it's rather quite, kind of, age appropriate. But if I had put this content, that's very specialized or for subscribers only, then I can remove that. I can put that in a special out only section or whatever, and then I could actually go through some of the stuff. So likewise, if this was the doujinshi or something, I could also do that sort of stuff. So that's one sort of advantage thing that I can do is that I can be a lot more I'm not limited by a lot of the things that I have problems with normally on YouTube, right? So that was one thing that I was sort of going through and saying. And some people ask me, say, well, why do you continue playing, for example, Langrisser and that kind of stuff? And I have to say, of all the games I've sort of played of this style, and of all these quote, Genshin Impact and all these other sort of waifu collection type of, collecting gacha type games, I'd have to say that Langrisser probably still is one of the best for that kind of thing. And the reason why I have to say that is because it actually is a waifu collecting type of game, and more so than Genshin Impact, because okay, sure, you can change the costumes and that kind of stuff on that, but you actually can the plot and the dialogue and everything else is actually directed at you, okay, and getting a higher relationship and that kind of stuff with you as the player, okay. I'll go into this book here because this is just really kind of neat here. So one of the things that really only happens in this particular thing, but I should have probably bookmarked it too. But there are many sort of things in Langrisser that for example, you can actually get actual waifu and wedding dresses. So when you get to that, you can actually change into actual wedding dress outfits like that. For example, for Yulia, if I remember right, so my favorite one is Sherry because that's the one I particularly use on my main account, and she has got a very nice dress too, if I remember right. Yeah. See, yeah. So a lot of people will do the angel picture for Sherry, which is this one here, but and yet again, I like that picture because the fact that unlike the like including the ones that you see on the graphics on the actual game, but the thing is that it's far more detailed, like the armor scripting and that kind of stuff, and the bracelets and that kind of stuff you have. So yeah, so this is the the wedding dress waifu picture for Sherry over here. And the nice thing that I noticed when I actually look at this particular picture, I didn't actually realize that the wedding dress herself is actually made out of feathers. Okay, I thought it was just script cloth when I was looking at the picture on the in the game, but it's actually she's actually got ruffled feathers underneath there. So that's really very nice. And so that's kind of the really neat thing about that. So here's a another waifu picture for Lana. Okay, okay, in wedding dress form. So, and so not only can you actually get the that the wedding dress picture for your waifu and that kind of stuff in this particular game, but the other part of the game is that you can actually get the love confession. So not only do they write you a letter of love confession, but they also have a spoken visual movie part for that. And again, you can see there's a cutscene of all the different female characters that actually have love confession videos for them. So again, and you can see the very different variety of them. So I've actually saved a bunch of them on my thing as well for that. So that's again. So again, if you're looking for a game that's that kind of stuff, and again, this is the actual strategy part of the game is actually more like a tactics game. And now with all the new improvements, the daily grind and that kind of stuff is actually very easy to do. Even my own self, I find myself probably spending like maybe 10 minutes to do either to do the sweep or the auto battle function for that on that. Okay. Now, I didn't want to talk about all totally, Langrisser in this thing because that would make the whole entire episode about Langrisser, and I could, probably put that on my YouTube channel. But this is more of a free flowing kind of episode that is, if I was going to do a subscribe to that, that's how I'd like to do. A little less editing. I don't have to chop out all my ums and ahs and that kind of stuff. But at the same time, I can let it run a little bit longer. I can, and go and switch on to different topics as I come across them and as I find them or as I do them. And I'm thinking, the rate would be probably, I may start, generously large as as I don't have very many subscribers and that kind of stuff, and I can make the content a little bit longer. But then as time goes on, as I get more, and then things become a little more time consuming, then I'll make them a little shorter, and but maybe have a little more often. Maybe I don't know. I'll have to determine that when the time comes. But this is sort of a sample one. The other thing that I can do is I can switch on topic. So I can just point out that I can now theoretically show things that I couldn't normally show on the YouTube side. I could theoretically play music and songs and that kind of stuff again, stuff that I wouldn't theoretically be able to show or let you play because, like I said, like one of the things I've been noticing I've been trying to do on the YouTube channel was show you some of my music selections, but they keep getting blocked or the content is not available in any other country of the or blocked outside of Japan or inside Japan, who knows, or altogether demonetized or whatever. They just don't let me do it, right? So having this other format will allow me to do a little more freedom in that. Okay, so that might be another option for me to do it that way. Okay. The other thing on that same topic is I was digging through archives and that kind of stuff, and I came across a whole bunch of these things. I have found a whole pile of these audio cassettes that I used to trade. Now again, in addition to trading VHS tapes and that kind of stuff, that was the way that we got anime from traded around and that kind of stuff, is that you physically had to send a copy of a video cassette from from one location to another. So I'd had actually, so if you wanted, let's say Orange Road a fan sub of Orange Road or something, you'd actually have to, contact somebody like myself or whatever who's got a copy of it, and then that person would have to record it onto a blank video cassette and then send that blank video cassette to you by mail. And only at that time could you then take that tape, put it into a VCR, and then play it, and then you would actually be able to watch anime. You couldn't. There was no internet per se, the word, especially before 1995, right? And that's when Windows 95 came out, and even the internet at that time was pretty horrible, right? So so that entire concept of actually sending things out was very important. So in order to do the same thing with music, in order to listen to some music, and the easiest way to copy music, because this is just slightly before the era of the recordable CDR, right? So the only way you could really get music was these audio cassettes, okay? And so we sent around. I mean, I remember not in sending out to people that had copies of audio cassettes and that kind of stuff. Just to get them in, because just so I can hear the music without dialogue or ending credits and that kind of stuff, and sound effects and that kind of stuff. So that was really a big thing back then. And so here I have a whole bunch of various. This one is one from Venus Wars, and this is one of the ones where I actually put one of these audio cassette covers around it. So I remember I did an episode in regards to having audio cassette covers and that kind of stuff. And so this is the on this one I have the Venus Wars soundtrack and the Ixer one image soundtrack. Okay, so that's a different sort of soundtrack there than that one there. Now again, this was a custom episode. If this was a custom episode, again, I could theoretically put one of these into and start playing this on the screen, and then you could actually listen to it, or some samples of it while I'm talking here with that, right? So on this one. Let's see, what did I record on this one? I had Urusha Tsura and Queen Millennium, the TV series, on this one. And I can tell by the handwriting of the person who wrote it. I still actually remember this handwriting, okay? It's done by Tom Miller out of... Tom Miller, I do believe, was from Detroit, I think? Michigan. Can't remember exactly. It's been a long time, that's for sure. But yeah, I recognize his handwriting, and he actually spent the time to actually write some of this stuff and actually write it and draw it out for me. Because I remember getting a lot of soundtracks from him, and we got here. What do we got here? Oh yeah, some just regular Japanese J-pop, or I guess they call it city pop now, which is the era before it's just J-pop. Ushiboira Asari, I don't even recognize that name. Ushiboira's Asari Win, and Fura, the balancing toy. So some of the music on that one. This is the soundtrack for Sherlock Hound and Lily Cat. I got to read. I remember just doing, my anime list for that, and I remember coming across Lily Cat, and I think, other than being a kind of an aliens type of show, I didn't think it was very significant. But then here I am following it up and going, I actually asked for someone to copy me the soundtrack for Lily Cat and send it to me. So I mean, that's I guess it's significant that I actually asked for the soundtrack for it. So that was kind of cool. So. Rather insignificant anime, and here's the soundtrack for it, right? What else do I have? I have I have Vodems Volume 1 and the soundtrack for Harmageddon. So again, there's another anime that's sort of, probably forgettable, but here's the soundtrack for it. Right on. What else do we got here? Mixed this one up. This one is a Project Echo Part 2 soundtrack with some songs from Gulf Wars. And on this other side is the Averdachi Yamato, which is the second movie. On audio cassette as well. That's pretty cool. Let's see what else we got here. I have the Yoko Leda soundtrack and Lock the Superman. So again, two... not on the forefront of the best OVAs in their particular year, but definitely, I remember the music for Yoko Leda. I thought that was really nice. So that's probably why I ordered it from this person, and they sent me a copy of it. Now I recognize this handwriting on this one. It's very, very nice and neat. In comparison to let's see, where's that one from Tom? Yeah. Okay. So you can kind of tell, the difference in the the handwriting styles there. Tom's is a little bit more non-uniform, kind of a little bit on the messy side, but then Yoko Leda is really scriptly written. And I can just I'll show you the back here for oops. I take the whole thing apart here. No. So you can see that if you look at Yoko Leda, and then on the other side is Lock the Superman. Very, very nice script around here. So this gives me an indication that this I must have got from Sarissa. And I got I traded a lot with her, and she was really she really had a good so yeah. What else did I get here? Okay, this one has Perfectional Earth Defense Force. Yeah, so again, this is the guy who brought you all those weird, the Perfectional Earth, the OEVA was really strange. One of those hidden gems, definitely, if you're looking for something that's really wacky comedy. But yeah, he's the one who made the doujinshi for the Neo Geon High School for non-new types. Okay, and I did the translation for the manga for that one. And this is the soundtrack for all sound of that guy. He's also very strange. He also does the Anal Man manga, and he also does the it's the Hikaru no Go doujinshi called Anal no Go. Now, again, I was gonna do looking through and was thinking of doing the translation of that doujinshi. I'm realizing it's just that close to the edge. I might not be able to put it onto YouTube, but maybe with a little bit of editing, I might be able to put it on there. So if I don't, then it may end up on this channel, and if not, then I'll try to squeeze it in, or I'll have to maybe edit that one section out of it. Who knows? That's one of the options here. What else I got here? I got Ideon. Yeah, so we got the Ideon. One side is the Contact, and the second one is called Be Invoked. Okay. And again, this is I got this one from Tom, because I can tell the handwriting's that one. He actually spent the effort to actually try to write the track listing in Japanese on this one, and so it's a pretty good effort for him. Wrote down the times and everything. What else, guys? This is the Yotoden soundtrack. Okay, I remember making that one. Then Lum the Forever and the Call Me Tonight soundtrack. Okay, so that's something really because it says Pink Noise was like this OEVA set that just sort of came out. Like Call Me Tonight is Pink Noise #1, and it's short sort of kind of really racy, edgy sort of nightlife type of anime. And but yeah, enough that they made a soundtrack for it. And so one of the soundtracks that I'm still looking for, and I know I'm pretty sure I have it, I just haven't found it yet. And it is supposed to be the soundtrack for Maddox 01. And I've been someone had asked me and told me that no, there's no way that a Maddox 01 soundtrack does exist. And I'm thinking, no, I'm pretty sure I had ordered that from, I'm pretty sure, Tom Miller, the guy with the really messy handwriting. And I should have that on audio cassette somewhere, assuming I didn't lose it or get it destroyed or lost or something. But I'm pretty sure that's where I got it from. And if I theoretically, I could probably maybe the only way I can hunt this down and figure it out is actually see if I'm trying to find if Tom's still around and I can get another copy from him. But I'm pretty sure it is also. If you know someone who has it or not, that is very hard to find. And if you can get it, I'm sure it's very valuable. I'd love a copy of it if you can get it. Okay, so another one from Tom. You can see this is Outlanders, the soundtrack, which is, again, Johnny Manabe, and it's like Outlanders. Okay, not very significant, again, but because they had the manga translated in English, that was one of the very first ones that did. So the soundtrack for that, and the soundtrack for Bubble Crisis 4. Kind of cool, yeah. Can't read what that is. Okay, and another one from Sarissa. She sends me 1,000 Year Queen. So Millennium Queen, the soundtrack for that one. Again, I really like that one too because the music for that one was done by Dara Sadaka. And again, who's Dara Sadaka? Well, Sadaka as in Neil Sedaka's daughter. Okay, and if you look really carefully at the credits, Neil Sedaka was the actual person who wrote the song. So that's a kind of neat little thing. Diddly be a good piece of knowledge if you have that. So anyway, yeah. So this is sort of a little sort of thing that I kind of came across, and I thought, okay, this is really really neat. I can show that and see that I have a whole bunch of these things, and who knows, maybe in the next giveaway I'll have a couple of these available to send to you guys as well. Okay, so keep tuned into that. Maybe we'll get a few more videos going for that. All right. So this is sort of the idea that I want to kind of get into, and hopefully as I maybe build up a small inventory of these ones, then that will allow you to do subscriber special discount content. And I don't know whether I'll put it onto Patreon or Subscribestar or whatever. I'll just find a way to to dump the stuff up. And so again, it's not that it's not that important that the monetization or anything like that. I think it's just I need another platform to cover some of the stuff that's out there, which YouTube is not allowing me to do, just because of just the way how it's supposed to be. A certain type of community that has all these copyright checks. It doesn't let me do it. Again, there's so much things with video content and all that kind of stuff. I may have to move to a different vehicle or that kind of stuff, or a different method in order to display this kind of content and maybe give you the full idea. Because like I said, for example, I could tell you lots of stuff about like 5-star stories. Okay. The problem with the course of 5-star stories is that because it's such, those guys have got such a, control and kind of hold of that. I can't even post my AMV for 5-star stories because it's got video content that's not available anywhere around the world, and it's got obviously music content which is being DCMA'd and the whole bit, right? So that's one of those things that I just can't get through on YouTube. But if I had another channel like this, then I could, right? And a little less restrictions, and a different kind of way to get things. So let me know what you think below. Whether this you think is a good idea, a bad idea. Would you be interested in this kind of stuff? Maybe with that I can if you want to throw down some more ideas and that kind of stuff, or what you'd like to see in this kind of thing. Would you like more reviews of hentai mangas or something like that? That's another way I can do. And there's a lot of good art books I can get into that I couldn't get onto like YouTube, for example, because there's a whole selection of that. There's lots of course videos and that kind of stuff which I can like AMVs and that kind of stuff I can get more into, because again a lot of the content, for example, I know that I think I had a Patlabor video struck down. I had a obviously 5-star stories I had struck down. Like Silent Mobius is another one that gets struck down. So maybe that's another way that can go. Anyway, let me know what you think. You can write down below. And anyway, so I hope you enjoyed this sort of kind of a free sort of trial kind of episode of special content. I'm gonna make another video as another supplement of what really specialized content is, but I'll save that for the next one. All right. Until then, I will see you again.